Right, chaps, Championship. 2-horse race, Mark?
Well, I think it is, actually. I mean, it's one of them ones where I am always trying to get the favourites beat, but I look at the Championship and I just feel that West Ham and Leicester are by far the two strongest teams in this division, and they're spending money like it's going out of fashion. You know, it's just amazing, really. It's like a Premier League 2, isn't it, this time around, when you've got Kevin Nolan on £70,000 a week at West Ham on a 5-year deal, and Leicester, you know, being able to outbid Wolves and pay sort of around about $5 million for Matt Mills. For me, at the prices, I'm going for Leicester. I think that Sven-Goran Eriksson gets a bad deal from the English press for only reaching the quarter-finals of World Cup.
It's not looking at too bad record now, is it?
A World Cup at a European Championship. I'm not sure that Sam Allardyce could manage that personally. And if you have a look at their defence, Sol Bamba's a massive player, Matt Mills, Sean St Ledger, and then they've got Pantsil and Konchesky, the mainstays of the Fulham team under Roy Hodgson in fullback areas. I think Kasper Schmeichel's one of the best goalkeepers in the division, if not the best goalkeeper in the division. The midfield, you've got Michael Johnson, who was being talked about as an England player not that long ago. If he stays fit, you know, you've got a real star there. Gelson Fernandez is somebody who plays international football regularly. He's apparently on his way. And then Andy King is a really good young player. Up front, David Nugent scored a decent amount of goals for Portsmouth last season. I just feel they've got the options, and I'm still expecting some big-name signings to come as well. So, for me, it's Leicester.
James?
Yeah, I think West Ham and Leicester do really set a very high standard in the division. West Ham are interesting. I mean, they're a very similar profile to Newcastle when they kind of ran away with the title a couple of seasons ago. They've got, you know, they've still got the core of a very experienced Premier League squad, but and Nolan's an amazing signing, even though kind of 2 years later, you know, I thought his legs might have gone about 3 years ago, but he's proved me wrong both in the Championship and the Premier League. If I was looking for a club at a bigger price, and you know, you are worried about the kind of financial situations that a lot of clubs in the entire Football League are in, and kind of certainly Birmingham have a bit of a black mark over them. But Cardiff at around 20-1, I think.
Yeah.
I think they could go well. I'm really impressed by...
The perennial bridesmaids.
Well, they are, but I think things maybe got a bit stale under Dave Jones, who did an excellent job there, but you know, they have kind of got rid of Bothroyd, Chopra, Bellamy, and Malky Mackay. I was impressed with the job he did at Watford, and he's brought in some decent young players, and I think they could go well. Whether they'll have the consistency to upset the big two. I mean, I think it is a shootout really, and I wouldn't like to say which of the two will end up on top really.
It seems like everybody else in this league is friendless. You know, you would have thought perhaps Forest would have been a lot shorter with McLaren coming in. Middlesbrough, we've been here before. Perhaps they were the Leicester of last year. Everybody expected them to hose up, and they had a dismal campaign.
There's a lot of sides in there who kind of punters have you know been bitten by in the past. There's a lot of teams you look down there and you think, am I really going to entrust these clubs with my money for the season?
I think that the difference with Middlesbrough last year, who went off sort of the warm favourites, was that they bought a load of players from the SPL, and I don't think that the sort of punters realise that actually the SPL to the Championship is a step up.
Jump.
It's a step up. You know, I know playing for Rangers and Celtic is a big deal in Scotland, but most weeks you're playing against teams that are not of a Championship standard. Yeah. So I can't really have Middlesbrough. If they couldn't do it last year, and now they've got a worse team, although they've got a better manager in Mowbray compared to Strachan, I can't see them. I think Forest, you mentioned them. For me, they've just... I've been very disappointed with McLaren's signings. Very sort of predictable and going for the old stages. Boateng, Andy Reid. It doesn't really excite me at all. If you're looking for somebody further down the list, I'm going for Hull as a team that can get into the top six. Very solid last year. Excellent away from home. Nigel Pearson's problem was they didn't score enough goals, and he's rectified that in January. He brought in the player he knows really well in Matty Fryatt from Leicester, and he got Fryatt going when they were together at Leicester. and that there's plenty of other players there that are really solid Championship performers, the likes of Paul McKenna, who's joined from Forest. And I just feel that at the prices, if you're looking for somebody, you don't want to be going for a 9-2 shot and have to wait to May, and then you still might not win. Hold for promotion, because I definitely think they're a top 6 side. What
about Brighton? Big times down there, new ground, signing some decent players. Mikhail Smith's gone there, who should score some goals in the Championship.
Absolutely,
Gus Poyet, very well renowned.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about kind of Crawley coming straight up into the Football League and being red-hot favourites, and there doesn't seem to be the gulf between divisions anymore. And you do see teams kind of claiming back-to-back promotions. Norwich did it, and Brighton and Southampton both coming up from League One, both big clubs, and both I expect them both to go really well. Yeah,
I think I'd be going for perhaps Brighton from an each-way perspective, to give. I was certainly expecting perhaps to get in the playoffs. And at the big two, I'm just leaning a little bit towards West Ham. I think Nana's a cracking signing for West Ham. He can really. He proved last time he was in that division that he is a class apart. And it stinks of Sam Allardyce saying, "You get me Kevin Nolan and I'll get you Premiership football next year." A lot of pressure on Sam, obviously. People might not like the way he plays football, but I'm sure West Ham fans will be happy if he gets them up. Yeah. So, Mark, Championship bet?
My best bet of the Championship is to buy Millwall points on the spreads. They were a team that's expected to struggle this season, having lost Morrison, but obviously he is it's a big loss losing him to the Premier League and Norwich. But they've got players to kind of replace him, actually, that I don't think that the spread firms have anticipated. I'm expecting them to be a comfortable top half team, and if that is the case, then you should be in profit.
Kenny Jackett's a manager I've had a lot of time for a long time, as well. He's as good a gaffer as any Championship team.
Well, they were knocking on the door for the playoffs, last season. I think that the Morrison factor has been well overplayed.
And James, your best bet?
I'd have a little bit on Cardiff for promotion. I think the big two are, obviously in a really strong position to get automatic, but Cardiff could sneak in there.
Yeah, I think West Ham will win the league, but my best bet would be to have a little each way on the Super Seagulls.